welcome back to my channel. So I just wanted to talk about, I talked about why I wanted to be a doctor personal development wise. So today I'm going to talk about why I wanted to be a doctor client wise. And I do want to dive in here and discuss, because I've brought this up on multiple occasions. I've said I don't like direct care, and I don't like being a CNA. I didn't like being a music therapist when I had to do, like, when the CNA activities took up more of my time. Like, I spent more time doing CNA activities, got paid CNA wage, and only got paid, like, for the hour of music therapy wage. So, yeah, so I didn't, that was kind of my experience, and it sucked, and it was horrible. And that's mainly why I didn't like direct care. But it is important to mention, because obviously being a physician, it's all about direct care. But physician direct care is different than CNA direct care. Physician direct care is different than music therapy direct care. So that's what I'm going to dive in here, because I don't want my previous words to get mistaken for something wrong. But yeah, so let's talk about music therapy first. So when it comes to music therapy, like, this is one of the direct care things that I don't like about music therapy. So as a music therapist at a facility, you are expected, or at least I was expected, to be with the clients like 24/7, and to be with them, be with them when they came in, be with them when they left, be with them during lunch. See what face I'm making? Like, and the reason why I didn't like that, and think about it, like, because when you're a music therapist and you're playing music for clinical goals, but you're still playing, you're still giving out performer energy, concert energy, and it's hard to do that for 8 hours straight, 10 hours straight, 12 hours straight, however long your shift is. I mean, even, like, I saw 21 Pilots, and that group was wonderful, and they played for 3 hours straight, okay? But that was it. And I think that's probably the top. Most performers, they sing, play hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. 3 hours was the most I've ever seen, and that was 21 Pilots. 3 hours, and yet again, 21 Pilots. Like, I am one person. Yes, there are 2 people band, you know? But, like, I don't have a crew. I don't have, like, support. I also don't have, like, I don't have chefs. I don't have cooks. I don't have people driving me around. I don't have people helping me at home. First of all, I can't perform, like, more than 3 hours straight and expect to be a normal human being, because, like, the celebrities don't even do that. And that's what was tending to happen, is it was expected that I performed 8 hours straight every day. And that just, like, wasn't feasible. That's not feasible for anybody. So when I brought it up, you know, it was just really pushed by the wayside. Like, why do you know, I brought up the fact that, I needed time to to do notes, right? And it was pushed by the wayside. Like, I don't understand why you need 2 hours to do notes. Okay, well, maybe, like, I don't need 2 hours, but I do need, like, an hour break and an hour to do notes. So yes, I need 2 hours, and that's pretty darn generous. I'm offering to play for 5 hours straight, you know, so that's still generous, and that got shut down real quick. So that's what I mean. Like, I didn't like direct care because I couldn't play for that long. Nobody possibly can. And for some reason, people, like, when your supervisor is a nurse, or when your supervisor is another therapist other than a musician, they don't seem to understand that. And that's one of the things that I didn't like about being a music therapist and the direct care aspect. In terms of being a CNA, it's kind of the same idea. CNAs work, usually, actually, when I was a CNA, I worked 10 to 12 hour shifts. And again, you're with the client 24/7. Now, as a CNA, like it's much more, it's a little bit more reasonable. Like, yeah, it's a hard job, but you're doing your 12-hour shifts, right? And at the one facility, it was 12-hour shifts 3 days a week, or 10-hour shifts 4 days a week, and that's fine. Like, if that was my schedule, I wouldn't complain. But that wasn't my schedule. I was doing 12-hour shifts as a CNA, and then expected to do 8 hours as a music therapist, and then another 3 as a CNA, so another 12-hour day. And then again, like, it's so I didn't get that 3 days. I didn't work 3 days, 4 days off, work 4 days, 3 days off. Like, I didn't get that typical CNA schedule. I worked like 60, 70 hours a week sometimes, and it was horrible on my my voice isn't that great right now, but it was really bad on my voice. It was really bad on my body. Like, I felt so weak and so, like, anyway, and that's one of the main reasons why I don't want to be a nurse, because they have to do that kind of thing too. For physicians and physician assistants, and like, when I shadowed, yes, they were doing direct care, obviously, but the thing is that it was like on and off. Like, I'll give you an example. When I worked as a scribe in the emergency room, I worked with a physician. I worked with both a physician and a physician's assistant on the same shift. And the physician, he would go to rooms, right, and I would follow him, and then he would go back to the office and discuss things with other professionals. He would discuss things with me that he wanted in the chart. And then the physician's assistant did the same. She would go to rooms, she would see like 3, 4, 5 patients in a row, and then she'd come back. And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that doctors and physicians, assistants, they come back to the office to communicate with other people, to check on their notes, to do notes sometimes, to check in with the scribe. As a music therapist, as a CNA, you do not go back to check in. And that was one of the things, as a CNA, that's a different story, but like, as a music therapist, that's something that I didn't like. I wanted to be able to talk to another music therapist, to talk to a speech therapist that I was collaborating with before the session, but I wasn't able to. And first of all, that's messed up on so many different levels, but for a physician, you do have the ability to go back. Now, they weren't necessarily in the office for that long, but they still had the opportunity to go into the office. They still had the opportunity to eat. Like, you know, they didn't necessarily take a lunch break, but like, they still had the opportunity to go back, check in with other professionals, check on things, like check on notes, check on lab tests, review lab tests, and then go back out. And for my personality, I really like that. That's why I liked being a supervisor for a music therapist, because you were out on the floor and then you got to come in. You were out on the floor, you got to come in. And that's what I like. Even though it's direct care, you still have, as a physician, you still have the ability to come back to the office, collaborate with other physicians, work with other physicians, talk to nurses, talk to other doctors, talk to scribes, talk to people of different departments, and then go out. And yeah, it's busy and it's fast-paced, but that's fine. At least you have the ability to sort of take a break and talk to other people. I didn't have that as a music therapist, and it was awful, and that's why I didn't like it. That's one of the reasons why I got burnt out as fast as I did. If I had, like, sometimes as a music therapist, I would be on the floor, right, and then I'd have to like get a water break, like water or a bathroom break, and I would take 5-10 minutes to go get some water, come back, and those 5 to 10, even though it was only 5 minutes, like, it made all the difference. Also with studying too, like, I do the Pomodoro method, taking that 5-minute break and doing a couple stretches, even though it's only 5 minutes, it makes all the difference. And as a physician, even though you are doing direct care, you do get that 5 minutes to sort of talk to somebody else, check in with the scribe, and then go. And it's a short period of time, but it makes all the difference. And that's another reason why I like the direct care that physicians and physician's assistants do instead of music therapy, CNA, direct care. And also too, like, I hate to say it, but those titles, like, nobody really respects a CNA, even though they should. Even family members of clients don't respect the CNA. And I think that's another reason why they don't necessarily get like breaks in the day, because nobody really respects them and no one thinks that their job's hard. Like the higher ups I'm talking about. But it is. And I hope that if any of you guys are CNAs, I really hope you're in a facility where it's 12-hour shifts 3 days a week or 10-hour shifts 4 days a week, because there you go, then you get a little giving back with the whole, like, you get extra days off, because it's definitely needed, especially when you're a CNA. Some places, they even give you bonuses if you work on holidays as a CNA, so hopefully you guys get that as well. Music therapy, I thought that music therapy was awful in terms of direct care, because I didn't feel like taking the time to do notes, taking the time to check in, taking the time to collaborate. I felt like that was all pushed by the wayside as a music therapist. And that does bother me, because you're trying to do your best for the client. How can you do your best if you don't have time to write stuff down, if you don't have time to collaborate before working with a client? How are you supposed to provide them with the best care possible? So that's why, as a music therapist, it annoyed me, and as a music therapist, it burned me out so fast. But once I was able to take 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, even though I didn't necessarily get a lunch break, it made all the difference. And shadowing physician's assistants, I noticed that that's kind of how their schedule is arranged, and mainly because they're trying to give their patients the best care possible. And that's what I love. I love the ability to fill my brain with knowledge, spend lots of nights staying up in hopes that you'll save somebody's life in the future, because that's the point. That's the whole reason we do this, is for the patients. And man, the patients are always my favorite part, even through these nuances, even through the stressful, annoying, working, playing music 8 hours straight, being a CNA 12 hours. Like, you know, the patients are the best, even though they do drive you nuts sometimes. They really are. And I love acquired brain injury. That's like my favorite population. Adults in particular are my favorite population. Mild brain injury, moderate brain injury, severe brain injury. Those are my favorite types of individuals. I don't know. It's just, I feel like I click with them. I feel like they really appreciate me. I feel like we have a lot in common, because a lot of them are kind of stuck in their teenage 20s age. So I feel like we can relate really well. I feel like you can there's no filter on the patient. Obviously, as a professional, you need to have a filter, but on the patients, they don't have filters. And I like that. I like when people like tell me how it is and they don't like cover things up. So I found my niche, but I'm willing to explore more populations, because if it wasn't for my exploration, I never would have found acquired brain injury. If I was stuck in I want to be a music therapist for kids, like most people are, or most people think about that going into, I would have never found my love for acquired brain injury. So I am willing to go above and beyond and explore other populations, because, especially geriatrics, because I always liked geriatrics, but I never had that much time with them. So I'm willing to explore other patients and get to know them on a clinical standpoint as now a medical student. Yay! Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I don't know. I definitely think if you're a music therapist or a CNA stuck in those roles, advocacy is the best way. I apologize. I guess I was too weak and I decided to go a different path. But anyway, hopefully I can make a difference in a patient's life. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this journey. Make a difference in the patient's life. Make them feel better. Make them feel stronger. Make them feel comfortable. And that really just brings joy in and of itself. So, I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye!